Hi everyone. Today I'm going to try to convince you that AI is not going to kill you all. So I think that's a pretty good objective. So basically, I want to tell you a story that happened many, many years ago about a chess player called Kasparov. Uh, he was probably one of the best chess players that has ever existed. You know, we always hear Bobby Fischer but Kasparov was the man who was awesome at chess. And whenever you have somebody that kind of declares that this is the best human at something, people that are geeks were like, okay, we'll take this guy down a notch. So they built a computer and to defeat this chess champion. And the first time that they went up against Kasparov, they actually lost. But in 1997, there was a second battle, and the computer was called Deep Blue. And Deep Blue was the biggest, most powerful computer that we'd ever have created at that time. And it totally destroyed Kasparov. It won against Kasparov. And that was AI. That was an AI, really early AI, that was a chess playing program. Now, that competition kind of made people say, hey, oh, maybe these computers are smarter than we think. And it was a point where you think, okay, well, Deep Blue was a very powerful computer in 1997. Well, it's 30 years later. Our computers are way more powerful now. And fast forward to 2005, there was a second battle between humans and computers. And this competition didn't get as much fanfare or attention, but it was actually more important than the Kasparov Deep Blue battle. And what happened was they actually took the new supercomputer, the one that could make Deep Blue look like a like a calculator. That computer was going up against mediocre chess players that would have no hope against Kasparov, no hope against even even guys that would have no hope against Kasparov. These were, average chess players. But average chess players, they decide, hey, we're going to have them go up against a supercomputer that would destroy Deep Blue. But to level the playing field, they gave these average chess players some computer aid. They could access a computer and they could basically work with the computer to come up with ideas on what moves to make. And this supercomputer versus humans and AI assistant, the AI computer, the AI person partner actually defeated the supercomputer consistently. So the point is that humans by themselves, well, AI can defeat you. But humans plus AI, we can defeat anybody. Okay? So the idea is this, that one of the things that we have this fear of is AI is going to take over the world. Well, probably yes, it will. But what will take over AI that takes over the world is humans working with AI to basically take it to the next level. So if you can learn how to use AI, you can be unstoppable. You can beat the Kasparovs of whatever field it is that you're working in. Now, I'm going to fast forward to my personal experience with AI and with how I saw the future of AI 10 years ago, before it even was a thing. Back in 2015 era, there was a thing called knowledge graph. And I kind of want to explain this, and this will make sense. This will all work for your business. I'll get there. Back then, there was a thing called knowledge graph, which basically was Google's attempt to use like an AI summarizer to summarize different people and different events, different things, okay? And basically, it was their way of creating a very early version of what we see now with AI overview. And that's the same thing that the AIs, like if it's ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, whatever it is, they all use this kind of technology. But this was like over 10 years ago. And at the time, I was like, wow, this is really gameable. I could see how the algorithm worked. And I was telling people at the time, I was doing presentations on it and saying, this is going to be the future of all search. And since then, I was kind of proven right because what's happened is you get AI now has taken over 20% of the market share of search. That doesn't mean that search engines are dead or that people aren't using Google anymore. It just means that actually search has actually grown bigger, and now part of that pie is actual AI providing that search. Well, how does this all relate to you guys? How does this relate to humans plus AI? Well, imagine this. Imagine that you're a human. Okay, just imagine that. That's maybe hard nowadays. But nowadays we tend to rely on AI. The adoption of AI was actually more impressive than the adoption of the internet. The internet was interesting because with internet, people kind of were slow to adopt it. You know, they still had to search, they still had to find sites, they still had to trust the sites that they found the information from, and there was a little bit of a learning curve there. And at the end of the day, you still had to read through the thing that you're quoting or getting information from, and that it wasn't really trustworthy. Somehow, people trust AI. AI tells them the wrong stuff all the time, but people still trust it. They still quote it. They still use it because AI does 99% of the work for you. You just say, hey, I want to know whatever, or I have to, write a essay on something, and AI will do that for you, and then you submit it as if you did all that hard work of writing it, right? And people are just naturally lazy. Humans are lazy creatures. So what we'll do is we'll just say, okay, AI can do it for us. And it takes like 5 seconds. And you're like, oh, wow, here's my essay that I was supposed to hand in for my university. And good, I'm done. Um, you know, that's kind of the way people have been. But what's happened as a result of all that people have adopted this, is the amount of content that is being created, whether it's images or whether it's essays or whatever, is massive. And it's all AI generated. The problem with AI generation, and going back to Knowledge Graph, is what Knowledge Graph did is it summarized real documents in order to understand something. Well, what happens is if you get a whole bunch of AIs producing a whole bunch of content, a whole bunch of information, what ends up happening is AI is summarizing other AI's content. It's summarizing stuff that might be true, might not be true. It's summarizing a whole bunch of collection of data that's out there. And what it's kind of like is it's kind of like cannibalization. It's sort of like saying, well, I'm hungry, might as well eat my arm. If it's constantly eating from itself, it's not actually feeding itself. It's not actually being nourished because it needs that new source of information. Because, if it's somewhere like another Google update, sorry to get into all these weird Google updates, but another Google update that will really make this kind of crystal clear was a Google update called Caffeine. And this happened around 2008 era. And what happened was that Google realized that it was obsolete. And what it did was it did an update. Whenever Google does an update, it changes its algorithm on a major scale. And the algorithm for that was called Caffeine, where it was sort of a wake-up call to Google. And the reason Google said that it was obsolete is the way Google works is it basically indexes the web, and it takes time to do that. It takes about a month to go out and crawl the entire web, get all the information, compile it, and then give the answer to the person that's asking the question on Google. That's a very slow process. Twitter, if you ask a question on Twitter, well, you're going to get the most fresh tweets. You're going to get like literally within second, like less than a second, instant answer from somebody instantly, like that's there, right? So compare the two. Well, Twitter is instant and it's basically now, the understanding of what's going on in the world now versus something that is a compilation of a month's old worth of data. So caffeine basically was like, okay, we're obsolete when you compare those two things. Well, AI is the same way. AI is summarizing lots of old stuff. So like when I asked it, hey, what's the best SEO recommendations you can make? It was telling me stuff that was like obsolete or not even existent for over 10 years. So because it's just summarizing everything that's out there, it doesn't know that these things don't no longer exist. It doesn't know that it doesn't have that kind of concept of time, and if we don't inject it with new stuff, AI becomes just garbage in and garbage out. So we have to give it something. We have to feed it. We have to feed it, and it needs us to feed it. So why is this all important? Well, if you think of it this way, if you're a human and you do human things like give it an understanding of the world, that means that you have more value than other content or other people, what other people are telling it. Because what other people are doing is just summarizing. They're just using AI to create some article. But if you're actually somebody that research it, gives like the actual reference to what's happening in the world today, or give it that fresh perspective, human perspective, that is something that is invaluable to AI. It's like, wow, this is really useful information. And what it'll do is when AI searches or gives information to other people, it will actually give that new information higher value and put it up at the top of the list. This is why it's gameable. This is why we can kind of dominate it, because all we have to do is be human and give it the food that it wants. It wants information, it wants content. And if we give it fresh content written by humans, then it will generally rank that near the top. And so stuff that I do, even with Tammy, one of the things that I do is actually, I try to get her site ranked, not just in the Google search results, but in the AI search results. And the way I do that is I use humans to write content and put it out in the world for her, about her keywords, actually. And by doing that, it's saying, oh, this is relevant and it's new information. It's something that is unique. And it'll actually use that to kind of create the summary and put her at the top. And it's like she's included in that summary. So this is kind of a trick that people don't understand. And this is what will make you separate you from the other people. If you just rely on AI, you'll be like maybe here. If you say, hey, I hate AI, you'll be a little bit lower on the totem pole. But if you work with AI and you add your human flavor to it, you'll be at the top of the list. You'll be the one that really, really dominates the world. I give content as an example, but I'll give you another example. My brother and I developed a search engine technology. It actually rivals Google in terms of what it can do. We built that for the last, for about 15 years, it's been in the process of being built. I think 2010 we started building it. And it actually does everything Google can do, but actually on a personal basis. You can actually download this little search engine and create your own little search engine technology. It's a pretty cool thing. Well, the way we kind of coded it, my brother is like a really high level coder, but what he is he's also a university professor. And he basically will leverage his students to do the coding. So he'll get like PhD level coders working on this project. So you get like the best of the best coders for free, which is kind of like one of our tricks. So the cool thing is, he had one PhD student working on a very small piece of this massive search technology that we developed. And it took a year and a half for this PhD student to develop like a small piece. The thing is, it had coding issues. There, it kind of worked. It kind of didn't work. It was, it wasn't perfect, but it was cool. Okay. Um, but what happened was, he then, started using Claude AI, if you want to pronounce it that way. But within 1 week, with him partnering with the AI, he was able to recreate everything that student did, fixed all the errors that the student created, and was able to create something that was way more elegant as a design for what we needed to do. And it was actually, so a year and a half work from a PhD level student, he was able to just totally outperform within 1 week. But if I had done that, or if you had done that, or if you're not a high level coder, you wouldn't have been able to do that. And part of the reason, the difference is this, that him working with AI, him being my brother at this high level, working with an AI, he knows what it's missing or what it's done wrong. And he can ask the right questions, get it to kind of tweak it in order to get it to do the right thing. Because he was like, oh, this AI it's always producing this kind of crappy stuff. And it was doing stuff that wasn't quite right. It was close, but wasn't quite right. It's the same as with me. When I asked it about SEO, it was giving me things that were like 80% correct, but that 20% that it was incorrect, it just was really annoying and just sounded like I didn't know what I was talking about if I had used it. But by my knowledge, I could say, well, hey, this is wrong. Can you tweak it this way and write the content this way? And then by having that expertise plus the AI, you can actually create something that is better than what you could have created by yourself or the AI could have created. See what I'm saying? It's a human AI partnership that's required to do something that is truly amazing. So what I'm telling you as a business person is be the best in your field, do what you do best, but do it with AI. And then you can be even greater than yourself. And that's how you can become, even, the best. Okay. So that's really the message that I'm trying to get across here. For marketing, that's why I can say, hey, now I'm the best in the world because I have the knowledge plus AI. Well, I can take it to another level that people that will just use AI for SEO can't do. So the point is, be that and explain that to you. Tell the story of the chess game to your clients, and that way they won't replace you with AI. Okay, so that's really the story that I'm trying to get across, and hopefully, it makes you understand that AI won't kill you all because it needs you all, and that's really the message that I'm trying to get across. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that.